So I just want to say how much I actually love toast. This whole podcast is going to be sponsored by Toast. No, actually, I was just thinking about that. I know this is really like unusual, but um, I love toast. It's just so darn good. I like, especially, and I know this is sort of my cheat, and I know I probably am gaining some weight from it. But in the last couple of months, I've been having a little bit of toast just in the morning with a little bit of butter, especially if it's sourdough bread and you toast it. It's just so darn good. Like the way that it's kind of sweet, but also has like a salty taste to it, and it's just the right amount of salt that's on it from the bread and the butter. And then it's like crispy. I like my toast just lightly toasted, not too much where it starts getting like very dark, but just lightly toasted where there's just a little bit of brown on it. Um, and you got that crunchy, like especially the sourdough on the outside has the crunchy, crusty bread that's on it. And then you bite into it and it's kind of soft and warm in the middle. It's just like the best flavor, the best taste. And I think about like people's guilty pleasure, and I've been very much. I need to stop getting on the guilty pleasure boat. But I've been having a few more guilty pleasures in my life, and this is for sure one of them. Having a little bit of toast. Again, it's not good for me in any sort of way, and I need to ease back because I don't exercise enough to like to to reduce that sort of intake. Um, and I'm not going to gain a heck of a lot of weight from it over the course of a year, but it's for sure I'm over my intake in terms of calories. And it's just like, but it's just so darn good to have a nice piece of toast. Um, So I don't think, I mean, I think some toast can be ruined. I don't like that dark molasses kind of bread toast where it's got a real kind of bitter flavor to it. I think I would pass on that. But if it was like, I love rye bread that's toasted. I like the sort of crunchy on the outside, soft in the middle, and that has a little bit of flavor. Like the Wonder Bread kind of toast, that sort of pre-made sandwich bread stuff. I don't like that. I think that's a little nasty. I grew up on that, having like Wonder Bread for a while. I remember having some of that was either if my parents, so my mom used to make bread, and I think maybe that's what there's um, a lot of nostalgia that comes with it. So my mom, she still does it. That's her thing, but it's getting less and less as she's getting older. But she used to bake, oh, I guarantee probably 15 loaves of bread, and she would do that every week, which, wasn't great on us. And then I would come home so it would be done by the time we get home. And she would have some cinnamon rolls or cinnamon buns that she had made. And I don't know if you've ever had so most people probably don't know what I'm talking about, what a homemade cinnamon bun is. You had the ones in the store, and those are nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Um, if you have homemade bread that's a cinnamon bun, and I don't like even bakeries can't do it, they can't get it right. There's one bakery that I've been to that gets it right, and it's in Lindsay, Ontario. Well, actually, it's not even, it's in this little tiny dinky town outside of Lindsay. Um, Gosh, and I can't remember. It's called the um, something bakery. I forget. It's tiny town. There's like literally one stop that's there, one light, and that's the entire town. But people will come, you know. So the nearest town, Lindsay, is Dinky. 10,000 people, probably a lot, maybe 20,000, and people will drive 20 minutes to get there. But if you find it, Little Britain, that's what it is. Little Britain, look it up. Little Britain Bakery, and they have, they call them Chelsea buns. I don't know. It's basically a cinnamon bun with some extra crap on it. And those tastes kind of homemade, but for the most part, most of the Bontton, cinnamon buns are not that good. They're terrible, and I would never, I don't eat them, right? Like I would clearly pass on them, especially the ones from Starbucks. Their bakery is horrible, horrible. There's nothing good in the bakery at Starbucks. It's all pre-made, frozen crap that just tastes. Ugh. Um, so one's Tim Hortons has okay donuts. Their cinnamon buns are terrible, right? Like Tim Hortons, I'm a big Canadian, so um, big fan of what they do. It tastes good. Their donuts are good, not as good as homemade donuts, but their cinnamon buns are terrible. So, anyways, I really digress here. Um, So I think that's where I'm getting I just really am loving the toast in the morning right now, especially, I mean, the bakeries we have Publix in the southeast. That's where I eat. It's a grocery store, where that's where we buy our bakery from. We don't buy our food from there, a lot of our food, but we buy the bakery good stuff is pretty good, but it's expensive. Um, so, with a little bit of toast, a little bit of butter, it brings back a lot of great memories, and I just love it. It tastes, and then you've got that smell that, just kicking off that nice bread smell, and there's nothing. So I remember when I was a kid, right? Like I was, 13 or whatever, coming in the door and it would just smell so good. The whole house would smell like baked bread. I really highly encourage you to try making some baked bread just to get that smell. And the whole house would smell because 15 loaves of bread is a lot of bread. And, that's what we would eat. My mom was the she was an econometrician, right? Like she really understood home economics. So we would have, because it was just a one income, my dad would work at a pulp and paper mill as an operator, and my mom would stay at home, and would, that would be one of her chores for once a week. And she loves baking bread. One of the things that she used to say that kneading the bread, and if you've um, so a lot of people don't need bread, but that's kind of an important part. But it would be this huge ball of bread, like massive ball, that was, probably give you an idea of it, would be 40 centimeters by 40 centimeters, right? Like the diameter was 40 centimeters, so pretty darn big, right? Like, yeah. And she would roll that sucker up, and she would punch it for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. She said she would get all of her frustrations out with that as she's punching. It's hard. If you punch that much bread, I don't think you understand how hard it actually is. It does require some strength. So I think that's partly why she's not doing it so much as she's gotten older. But then, she'd roll it up into these nice little loaves, pop it in the oven, and it would come out, and there'd be a little bit of butter on top that she would put. Um, and it would just taste so good. Taste so good. The the day of when it first comes out of the oven, within the split second, man, it's just like cookies. If you ever had, and most people probably had homemade cookies that are just out of the oven and they're piping hot, man, it's the same thing. It is so darn good. Like just pure pleasure. Pure, absolutely 100% pure pleasure. I don't think you can have warm hot bread that's come out of the oven. Like that's fresh, right? You can't get that you can't get that at a restaurant. Most of them suck at it. Even the fancy ones, they don't do it. Um, You can't get that. So Publix Bakery, they do cook it, and sometimes you can get it warm, but it's not the same as it's homemade. Um, so it's an imitation product that's decent, but it's not quite there. Um, so the homemade, gosh, I gotta make more bread. I gotta make some. So homemade bread that's just fresh and hot with a little bit of butter on it, and you toast it. Man, you toast it. It's just pure pleasure, absolute pure pleasure that I just like. I, and I apologize for gonna ruin a lot of people, in their thoughts, but man, it's as good as sex. Uh, just homemade bread is so good. Just the pure pleasure sensations that are right in your brain. Um, there's so much going on. Your brain just gets overstimulated. All those like neurons are just firing and going like crazy, and you can just see it's like going nuts. Just toast in the morning. It's just delicious. Um, just delicious in so many ways. And I know that this is typical, but or not atypical with this podcast, but man, have more toast. It's just freaking awesome. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day.